Hello everybody, my name is Kyle Forster and today I'm going to talk about the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, and that is more commonly known as Obamacare. Now Obamacare is something frightening that's happening to our country that a lot of people are scared of and a lot of people don't understand. This is because there's a lot of rumors floating around and a lot of information, and I'm going to try to clear some of that up in the most unbiased ways possible. Now take for instance, you have somebody named Bob. Now Bob had cancer when he was 2 or 3 years old, and he completely got over it and he's fine. But now it's come time to buy insurance. Now currently, if Bob were to go buy insurance, the insurance companies most likely wouldn't do it because it'd be seen as a liability. They'd most likely lose money because they would have to have really high insurance, and if the cancer does come back, then that's something that the insurance company will have to pay for and be extremely expensive. So the insurance companies don't want to pay for Bob, but obviously Bob needs health insurance. Now this is where Obamacare is going to step in. It's going to try to regulate that so the insurance companies can't turn away people who have pre-existing conditions. Now in return, Bob could just say, oh, well, I'm not going to get insurance until something comes up and I have to. But Obamacare isn't going to let that happen. It's either you have to pay for an insurance, and in doing so you can either pick an insurance of your choice, you can keep the insurance that you have, or you can go to a public option, which the government endorses, and you can choose that. But either way, you either have to pay for an insurance of those choices, or you have to pay a mandate cost. Now, a mandate cost isn't the way that the government's going to say, oh, you have to buy insurance or we're going to bill you. No, that way it's kind of like a tax, to where if you pay the mandate cost and something does come up and you do need to buy insurance, that way you'll essentially still be paying for the insurance that you're going to be receiving. Now, the insurance companies now, what will happen if somebody can't pay for this? Well, then the government will come in, they'll look at the account, and they'll see if you do in fact not have enough money to cover this. And if you don't, then the government will be like, okay, well, we'll pay 95% of the cost if you just pay the remaining 5% cost. Now, this is a way to get everybody to pay for it, some more than others, but either way, universal healthcare will be implemented. Now, this model has worked, as we see in Canada and New Zealand, and universal healthcare is the way that a lot of Western democracies are headed. Now, some people are scared that illegal immigrants are coming, as everybody knows, in more vast numbers, and some people are concerned that illegal immigrants are going to be able to get this insurance as well, since it's supposed to be universal. However, during the Obamacare, or the PPACA Act, it states that only legal residents of the United States of America can participate. Now, of course, if an illegal immigrant is somehow in a deathly situation where they have to get rushed to the hospital, of course the hospital is going to treat them. However, after the Obamacare takes place, this isn't any different than before the act. Because if an illegal immigrant were to come into a hospital emergency room with a gunshot wound, they would still treat them, and then all the political affiliations that come from that would be sorted out afterwards. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, if the government is going to pay for 95% of a lot of poor people's costs, then that's going to hike taxes up. Yes and no. The taxes aren't going to affect a majority of the population directly. Now, what the government is doing in order to get the cost to pay for 95% of the taxes is they're going to raise tax on pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies, indoor tanning beds, and those of you who make $200,000 or more a year. However, they're only going to raise the tax of people who make $200,000 or more a year by 0.9%. Now, 0.9% is a very, very minor number compared to the large scale of tax increases that a lot of people have experienced over the years. Now, initially, this PPACA, or Obamacare, is going to cost a lot of money. It's going to cost $1.7 trillion to put into act. Now, yes, that is a lot of money, but however, by 2021, it's expected that this healthcare system will completely pay for itself and start to bring in a profit of roughly $3.12 billion. Now, in the links, I will have a copy to this act, so those of you who are more interested can read it yourself. And thank you very much for listening to my lecture on the PPACA, or Obamacare.